I find it so strange that we've worked with maybe just 2 or 3 financial services client and they're like, nahi bhaiya, 99% mardi insurance khareedte hain. Why are women never spoken to about financial products? When it's actually proved that women, if they like a product or service, outdo men in terms of loyalty and recommendation.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Happy Hour with FinCocktail. Today we have with us the founder of Kidsstoppres. She is also the author of an amazing book called The Parents I Met. And to top it all, she is also a certified conscious parenting coach. Welcome to our show, Mansi.
Thank you so much.
So glad you could make it.
Yes, very excited, looking forward.
So Mansi, you have multiple sources of income. You do a lot of different things. I want to ask you how you manage your money.
It's so interesting that you say that because just recently I had shared it both on my LinkedIn and on my Instagram that I find it so strange that in the last 10 years of running Kidsstoppres, we've worked with maybe just 2 or 3 financial services client. Because every time I'd go to them, they're like, oh, we don't want to speak to you. And I'll be like, why? And they'll be like, you have the reach, your content is great, quality is great. But, we're not looking at the target audience that you have because we have like 85% women. And I was like, why? And they're like, nahi bhaiya, 99% mardi insurance khareedte hain. And, I was just thinking in my head that why are women never spoken to about financial products when it's actually proved that women, if they like a product or service, outdo men in terms of loyalty and recommendation. And also for the fact that women have a longer lifespan than men. And women have better plans, facilities, interest rates, insurance rates than men. And you'll be surprised that 85% of the women out of the 350 who responded said that my spouse actually takes care of my money. Spouse stroke father, we had given that as an option. And to answer your question, I am not one of those 85 and I'm so glad about it. Yes, we discuss because obviously it's a joint pooled portfolio. So we're like, okay, if I'm going to take the risk, what are you going to put? So a lot of it is, of course, dependent on age. And we're also sandwich generations in sandwich generation in many ways, right? So we're the ones who need more care because we're also taking care of aging parents and kids going to university, right? And young children. So in a way, the purse strings are always so strained because you're always prioritizing something or the other.
That's true.
Right? So to answer your question, how do I manage it? Again, I think power of compounding, using whole bunch of budgeting apps and tools. Like I'm a huge sucker for this app called YNAB. I don't know. I don't know if anybody uses it, or a simple thing if YNAB's too complicated for women, just download this app called Money Manager, because right now we're making so many digital payments that you don't even realize that, oh my God, I just spent 200 rupees on Google Pay, 2,000 rupees here, 20,000, because money is not going out and it's going infinitely, from your bank account. You don't realize how much you pay, right? And how much you're spending. And when you are tracking that data on how much I'm spending on what, then you actually, and I have this philosophy of deciding how I want to spend and on what I want to spend. So investing is great, but understanding your spends to me is far more important. So if you at the beginning of the year write down what are your top 3 goals for the year. For me, this year is all about travel, right? Then every time I want to spend, I'm saying, is it going towards my goals? Yes, it is. Okay, I'll make the plunge. But if travel was not my top 3 goal for the year and it was about book promotions, it was about fitness, and it is about more time with family, right? Then where am I spending? If I'm buying that dress, is it contributing to the top 3 goals? Nah, it's not. Right? But if it is about promoting my book, am I reading more books? Am I looking at more subscriptions? Am I subscribing to something which is going to help me gain knowledge so I can promote my book more?
The right kind of books.
The right kind of stuff. If it is, so my point, if it is about fitness, if I'm taking a gym membership, yes, it's contributing back to my top 3 goals, right? So understand where you're spending. Have this mantra of income minus savings is equal to expense. Like just write it big, bold on your wall, because that will just be your North Star in terms of saving more.
Yeah.
Understanding budgeting to the T. And I teach my kids also about budgeting, because it's absolutely essential, because if you know where your money is being spent, like if you don't look at data, then you'll not be able to make wiser choices. And because I know that I'm working, I'm time strapped, I will still hire somebody to do the transactional part of it, or the operational part of it, but I am making those conscious calls, whether I've hired a wealth manager, whether it is about SIPs or whatever that I may want to do, or I know that at 10% of my portfolio is something I want to look at investing in gold, or if it is about, okay, saying buy a property 5 years down the line, if I feel like I want to. But that's all planned and that's all budgeted. Right? And is it aligning? Do I want to even stay in the city after 5 years? Maybe not. So do I need that house? Cut it. Right? So it's all about where you want to be. And so I'm saying investing, planning, budgeting, and knowing what's your risk appetite at this point in time is extremely, extremely important to investing.
Yeah.
And also domain knowledge, expertise, right? Like I know I am not someone who has the ability to track the market every single day.
Yeah.
No problem.
Stocks
I'm happy.
you can't do every day then. You can't.
Exactly.
A large part of your portfolio can't be in stocks.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'm happier with mutual funds, right? I'm happier doing that. Or I've hired somebody to do that, but I am the core decision maker to that, right? Or deciding on my children's education fund. Yes, I want to take that risk. Yes, what is the aid available? I do spend time in tracking scholarships of different colleges, or what are the top colleges that she may want to look at. So it completely depends on how you want to make those choices. So I would say, let's break it down into income, budgeting, savings, and then aligning your expenses with your goals, and then finding tools relevant for it.
Absolutely. This is literally exactly what Siley and me talk about. That this is the order in which you need to sort of plan for your investments, because investments are the last thing you need to worry about if you've got all this sorted.
Yeah.
Then where you invest is a very natural course of action that you will take. If you know what your goals are, if you know that, okay, my short-term goal is to take this trip to France at the end of the year, then I know that, this short-term goal ke liye money, whatever I have, it's going to go into a liquid fund.
Yeah.
If I know that, I have a long-term goal to sort of, plan for buying a car 5 years down the line or 3 years down the line or whatever, then I'm going to put it in an investment vehicle appropriately.
Yeah.
So I think where you invest is a very natural sort of progression if you have got all the other stuff sorted.
Yeah. Absolutely.
For parenting tips, celebrity interviews, recipes, conversations with experts, DIYs, and lots more. Subscribe to Kidsstoppres now.